Okay, so today I'd like to show you some of the ways that I use ExactPath to help my students who are struggling, and how beneficial it has been for those students. And so I'd like to start by showing you when I log into ExactPath, I'm able to pull up a report. Let me show you the report screen right here. So you can choose from several reports. Often I'll pull up, before I meet with students, a report to see how much time they've spent on different tasks. And so this report right here will show, this one will show their names, and it'll show the time for a specific period of time. So maybe for a week, I'll be able to see that these students spent a sufficient amount. The student is only working in one subject, and so in that 1 week period, she spent 2 hours and 30 minutes on that subject. And actually she was logged in for 2 hours and 55 minutes, so she maybe was doing some work on on pencil and paper, doing some other stuff, but overall I can see that she spent sufficient time. So I'll look at that with my students as well to see how much time they're spending on it. And then the really useful report, if I go back to the report page, is the detail report. And I'll pull that up for students to find out how they're doing. So I have a student that I'm going to meet with. Sorry, let's find him right here. So when I'm going to meet with Kyle, for example, I'll look at his report and see what lessons he's doing and how he's doing on those lessons. And that will help me to decide what I can do for him and what areas he might need help in. So Kyle, on this lesson, divided a 2-digit number by 10 or 100. He did great on the lesson, spent some time on the tutorial, which is always good. Spent a little less time on the mastery test. The practice didn't take much time, although the 1 minute that will be the last time he did the practice. He may have done that a couple of times, and then eventually got really good at the practice, and it only took him a minute to get through it to get a perfect score. My students often redo things so that they can get a better score. And then when he got to the progress check, notice that he did all these 3 things on the 25th, and a couple days later on the progress check, he mastered that skill of using the powers of 10. And so that was really good. He got a trophy in that. Adding and subtracting decimals, he worked on it on the 26th. The next day on the 27th, he did not master that skill. Multiplying and dividing decimals, he worked on the 26th and the 27th, and on the progress check, he did not master that skill. Notice these were both at a grade 5 level. And then rounding decimals, he worked on for just a little bit, but he passed that skill. Then he went on to work on some adding multi-digit numbers. So these areas that he did not pass, he didn't earn a trophy in, but also he will be given some remediation in that. So if we go to Kyle's learning path, let's find it right here. We can see this is the math learning paths, and we can see that Kyle now is working at a learning level 4 because he's trying to, he was knocked down in some of these components that he didn't master. And so if Kyle was having trouble with this or struggling, some of these students will get an orange that they're struggling in an area. So if Kyle was struggling in this is something that I've done with him at our meeting. I may go ahead and preview the mastery quiz, click on it right there, and then I'm able to see the quiz. It pops up, and I'm able to see the questions that he's having along with the correct answers, but I can go to unanswered, and I can go through these questions with him. I can also look for other materials. For example, a while back, they were working on some fractions, and actually they were working on multiplying and dividing whole numbers, and then also on some fractions. So I went to my shelves and found some other materials that would be useful, and I was able to work with them with paper and pencil on things that reinforce what they were struggling with on ExactPath. As well, multiplying and dividing whole numbers, was able to go through some of those things with them. So I'll use those things to prepare for a meeting with Kyle. I'll also prepare, like I said, in this case I happen to meet with Kyle and Jade. Let's see if I can find Jade's here. No, that's Kyle again. I meet with them a couple of times. Oh, here it's Jade's. So I'll meet with Kyle and Jade, and I'll look at Jade's. I looked at Kyle's ahead of time. I'll look at Jade's. Jade's doing multiplying fractions, which is what we reinforced a couple weeks ago, or about a week ago. We reinforced some fraction stuff with her. So it looks like on her progress check, she mastered that. So I think the reinforcement helps, but it also helps for her to do it online on the Edmonton program. In geometry, the coordinate system, she mastered that. Measurement data and statistics is an area that Jade's had a couple of passes at, and she keeps working on this, and it's a little hard for her, so I think I'll look for some resources to help her with that. She did not master that. Spent a lot of time too. And volume. It was her first time to work at volume, did not master it, but now they'll move her down to a different level in these subjects. So if I look at Jade's, I can see where she's at right now. Volume, her current learning level is 5, so she's either at a 4th or 5th grade level in some of these, but it'll give them a chance to try it again at this level. But if she has multiple times where she needs to, it's giving her a redo on both of these lessons. If she fails it another time, it's going to change it to put some red marks up there, and we're going to know that she really needs more intervention in that she's really struggling with that. So now I'm going to meet with Kyle and Jade and go over their work with them and talk to their moms.